Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Onward Men podcast, a podcast built for men that want to get better, that want to grow. This podcast is all about growth, gentlemen, because I believe that when men get better, everything gets better, right? Society gets better, the world gets better, and it gets me excited thinking about men that want to do big things in life, that are not willing to settle, that are not willing to stay where they're at, but they always want to upgrade. They always want to go to the next level. And I am all about the 5 M's of manhood, which are money, mission, muscles, mindset, and of course, marriage. And I believe, guys, that you got to have all 5 if you want to be considered a high performance man. And today, guys, is what I call Mindset Tuesday. It is one of my favorite days of the week because, to be honest with you, gentlemen, your psychology is going to dictate the outcomes in your life, right? And life is really a game of psychology. What do you think between the ears? If you look at successful guys, if you look at successful men, what you really want to do, gentlemen, is not copy what they do. You want to copy how they think. Because if you can understand how somebody thinks and how they organize their thoughts, then you can accomplish the same outcomes. It's all about your psychology in life. And today I want to talk about the notion that we as men all have emotional homes that we are privy to, right? We all default to an emotional state, whether you're aware of it or not, that is literally controlling your life. Because, guys, emotions control what we do. The emotion is what creates the action, right? If you feel down, if you feel depressed, if you feel like kind of sorry for yourself, is it hard to take action? Hell yeah, it's hard to take action, right? But on the other regard, right, if you feel grateful, if you feel joy, if you feel happy, if you feel abundance in your life, then guess what? You're taking action like a madman because you're living with passion and purpose, right? So, as soon as we understand as men that our emotions are controlling our life, then it's very important to understand your patterns, gentlemen. And I have realized that every man has emotional patterns, right? They wake up with certain emotions, they go throughout the day with certain emotions, and they end the day with certain emotions. And the reality of the matter is, guys, is that 90% of those patterns, 90% of those emotions are the same day after day after day, and those same emotions are creating the same experiences. Those same experiences are creating the same outcomes, and we're just like running on autopilot, guys. Literally every single day. The most people are just playing the same loop in their freaking head day after day after day, and I want to break the pattern in your life because as soon as you break your patterns, you can get new outcomes. And that's what I want for you. I want you to get more of the things that you want in this life. So if you could answer just one question, if you could think about this really quick, what is your emotional home? What is that default mode that you have as a man? Is it anger? Is it pride? Is it guilt? Is it shame? What is that emotion, gentlemen? Is it fear? Is it worry? Is it anxiety? What is that default emotion that you find yourself in? You have to have massive self-awareness, right? Because if you find yourself not doing the things that you say, or you find yourself not taking the actions that you want to take and get the outcomes that you want to get, it's because your emotions are not allowing you to. You are living in negative emotions. That is your emotional home. We all know that guy, right? That every time we see him, he's cracking jokes. He's always like the funny guy, right? He's always making other people laugh. He's always thinking of the next joke that he can say, right? That guy's emotional home is probably like joy, guys. That guy's emotional home is probably like just a happy guy, right? On the other hand, we all know those guys that every time we see them, right, they kind of look down. They're like, oh man, just another day. Oh yeah, just another wonderful Tuesday. Hey, we know that guy that he just walks around and he's kind of lifeless, right? Well, what's his emotional home? Well, he's probably living in some type of fear. He's probably living in some type of anger. He's probably living in some type of anxiety and worry, right? So, guys, if I could get anything through to you today on this podcast to really change your life for the better, is to identify, number one, your emotional home, and then figure out where do you want to be emotionally, right? So if your emotional home is anger, well, you don't want that, right? But you have to identify it, and then you got to say, well, what's the antidote for anger, right? It's all about just finding the antidote emotion at that time. And you can switch your emotions, guys, like this. It can happen in an instant. You first have to be aware, and then you can change your thoughts to change your emotion, right? So if you live in anger, well, the antidote is probably joy, right? How do you get joy in your life? How do you flip that switch to now, hey, I'm grateful and I'm joyful for the life that I have? And when you get into that emotional state, guess what happens? You're able to take massive, massive, massive action in that state, right? Happy people take massive action. Grateful people take massive action. So it is so important, guys, that you really sit down today. And if you do this, I promise it will change your entire life. And really be aware of the emotional patterns throughout the day. When you wake up, what are those emotions that you feel? When you're driving to work, what are those emotions that you feel? When you're at work, what are those emotions? When you come home, what are those emotions? And realize that's your emotional home, guys. That is your pattern in life. And that is why you are getting the same outcomes every single day. Now what I want you to do is when you recognize that pattern, I want you to find the emotion that you do want, right? So maybe your emotional pattern is fear. I'm always fearful. I'm always fearful of what's going to happen next. I'm always fearful of taking the next move. I'm always fearful. Well, the antidote to fear is courage, right? How do you muster up the courage? How do you get into that emotional state? Change your physiology. How do you get that courage to run through your body so now you just take the action and you dominate and you take the island. This is what life is about, guys. It's all about managing and understanding our emotions. And as soon as you master your emotions, you will master your fate. You will master your actions. You will master your goals. You will master what you want in life. And that is a guarantee, guys. So I don't want to make this podcast too long, but it's all that to say that you got to get your head right. You got to get your emotional state right, and your emotions control your actions. So I want you to dominate, guys. I want you to live with passion. I want you to live with purpose, and I never want you to surrender. I want you to be a man that says, gosh darn it, I'm going to do what I need to do to be an onward man. So dominate, guys. Have a great day. You can always find me at Onward Men on Instagram. You can also go to richardmugica.com for sales, influence, and persuasion. And of course, you can go to the onwardmenpodcast.com for every manly episode of this podcast. I hope you dominate, guys. I want you to win, and have a great day. Bye.